On January 15, 1919, the citizens of Boston experienced a sticky tsunami. A wave of molasses so thick it resembled honey crashed through the city, reaching heights of over 20 feet and destroying everything in its path. People were trapped, houses collapsed, and animals drowned in a sea of sweet, sticky death. But how did this happen? Well, you see, for decades before the tsunami hit, the residents of Boston had been complaining about the smell coming from a pier on the north side of the city. The pier was owned by the United States Industrial Alcohol Company, which used the molasses to make alcohol during World War I. The molasses was stored in large tanks on the pier, but over time, the wooden tanks began to leak. This created a huge pool of molasses on the ground, and when the company tried to pump it back into their tanks, they realized it was too late. The molasses had soaked into the ground and created a giant underground lake. But the alcohol company wasn't done with the molasses yet. They continued to dump more and more of it onto the ground until one day it simply couldn't take any more. On January, the ground gave way and a giant wave of molasses flooded out of the hole. Molasses poured into the streets, reaching heights of over 20 feet in some places. It knocked people off their feet and trapped them in its sticky grip. Entire houses were demolished and their foundations were left coated in a thick layer of molasses. Animals drowned in the flood, and those who survived the initial wave were left coughing and spluttering as they tried to escape the sticky death trap. As the wave of molasses surged through the city, it carried with it a fine brown dust that coated everything in a thick layer of grime. People were forced to wear masks as they struggled to breathe in the air. The smell of molasses hung heavy in the air, making the disaster even more horrific. It took days for the people of Boston to clean up the mess. In the end, 21 people lost their lives, and the city was left with a sticky, smelly residue that took years to remove. So remember, if you're ever in Boston, be careful where you step. You might just trigger another sticky tsunami. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an upload. And be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more videos like this.